Hello.
Hey everybody, we're back one last time to talk about a little NFL football.
A week late.
Now we're going to do our little Super Bowl recap here, just to talk about what went on, and then after the Super Bowl,
We're gonna talk about what we're gonna do after that.
yeah. After the Super Bowl, there is a little draft coming up, so we might do a little draft preview coming up here at the end of it too. But first of all, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Again, it went the complete opposite way
Of what we thought it was going
of
to go.
what we thought. Now, honestly, if you look back on it in retrospect,
It was bound to happen.
the defense that's playing the best through the playoffs
Tampa.
normally wins the Super Bowl. I mean, it's happened to us in the past, plenty of times. So you just sort of look at it as the offensive explosion, because that's what you want to see. You want to see the boom, the touchdowns, but you don't pay attention to the best defense playing in the.
You don't pay attention to that defense because you know what they say: defense wins championships.
Mm-hmm. But it's not pretty, unless you're a defensive guy. If you're a defensive guy, it's probably really nice. But the rest of us likes the explosions, the touchdowns, the 90-yard, something. But no, Tom Brady now has his 822nd Super Bowl trophy.
If you count in Doctor Strange terms, that's
Yes,
320.
that's 320. Yeah, but yeah, he's got his seventh
ring.
His seventh ring now. He's got so many Lombardi trophies.
That he can just toss them across the boat in his parade.
They had a boat parade, and they just tossed it from one boat to the other, just like it was
A toy.
a toy or something. Yeah, if you're dropped in the ocean, what are you going to do?
He's got 6 more.
No matter. He's got 6 more to house. I'll run out of room anyways. I can lose one of them. It ain't going to make that big of a difference.
But this game was pretty much set from the gun. Mm-hmm. Mahomes could do nothing.
No, one of the Kansas City's best offensive linemen opted out of this year because he's in the medical profession and he chose to serve.
Respect to that.
Respect for that. But it hurt Kansas City. He's supposed to be back this coming year, but that hurt Kansas City. And then throughout the season, they lost 2 more of their starting offensive linemen.
Injuries.
So 3 of their 5 starting offensive lines from the Super Bowl year before was not there, and it shone through heavily whenever there was a really good
was
defense.
Running around like a chicken with his head cut off.
It was, he was running constantly. He was
nowhere to hide, nowhere to run.
No, what they call the little CHP, the constant heat program. He was under the constant heat program. There was no.
The Buccaneers
help.
defensive line consistently either went into his face, filled his face full of turf, or chased him.
Yeah, and honestly, Mahomes still showed that he is a Superman. He was still escaping
really good throws.
and making some. He was jumping sideways and doing some matrix stuff, man. Throwing that football. The bad thing about it.
His supporting cast didn't really show
whenever
up.
he did make some good throws, his receivers were like, poop. And they hit him in the head. How many people did he hit in the head during that game?
Quite a few.
And they just went. It was a combination of a lot of things. Honestly, you want to know what the Super Bowl reminded me of? The Seattle
Denver one.
The Seattle-Denver one, where Denver went in just explosively on offense.
And then Seattle just
and
came
then
in
Seattle's
and
defense
just
just took over the game. And then there was a system of errors that just,
piled up.
And it's the same, the first snap of the Seattle game, ball went over the head
of Peyton
Manning. And then there it went, the error started, and then there was no getting back from it. And the same thing happened in the Chiefs game. Bad stuff started happening. Now,
the throw over the head didn't happen.
The throw over the head, but the bouncing off the face mask happened 4 or 5 times. And it didn't help, I'll just throw this out there, that the refs
had a couple of calls.
Threw 85 yards of penalties
onto the Chiefs.
On the Chiefs in the first half, which completely changed the game.
Shifted it into Tampa's direction.
It shifted in Tampa's direction, and then the second half, the Chiefs were so
rocked up.
There's nothing to take it
Not only by the
to.
defensive line of Tampa Bay chasing Patrick Mahomes everywhere.
Yeah,
but also by the officiating, which Dad heavily criticized during the game.
It made the game almost unwatchable there was so much, and I know there's a bunch of people thought the same way I did, jump around on Twitter and stuff. It made the game almost unwatchable. There was so much you expect in the playoffs that you let the players play. If it's something egregious, then you call it. But there was a lot of ticky-tack. There was a lot of ticky-tack stuff calling that game that made it really not a very watchable Super Bowl. But hey, it is what it is. Super Bowl's over.
And Tom Brady, congrats on your 7th ring.
Yeah, congrats to your 7th ring. Retire, dude. Just retire. You don't need to come back anymore.
I mean, you got on your ship with Johnny Depp and the Patchy the Pirate and the Flying Dutchman, and you got your 7th ring with those guys.
Yeah.
You've already sailed your ship.
Just go ahead and retire now. You got the wife, you got the kids.
You got all those rings. You got the reputation.
You got the sunshine, man. Just go ahead and kick back and take it easy.
You're 43. Just take care of your family.
Just take care of yourself and your family, man. You know. But hey, he probably will come back for another year or two. Probably, he will probably have to go out kicking and screaming. You know, eventually, Father Time will catch up. It catches up with everybody.
Time is undefeated.
Time is undefeated. Tom Brady will lose eventually, and honestly, he may be one of those people that loves playing so much and loves the game so much that he's going to have to be kicked out. Father Time may just have to kick him out. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I do honestly expect him to play another couple years or so.
Well, very few have that kind of passion, though.
Mm-hmm.
You just have
and
to
honestly, luck. He has never had a serious injury.
Outside of that 1 year where his knee got ripped.
Well, that 1 year, but that's a knee. I mean, they can rebuild knees now like it's a Lego set.
Like it's a robot.
Yeah, they can just click, and there's your new knee. 8 months later, you can go back and play again. But he's had no serious, head injuries, neck injuries, shoulder injuries, stuff that would stop a quarterback from being a quarterback. Tom Brady is not going to run for 80 yards anyway, so he could go out there with one leg and still be the type of quarterback that he is. So he's had really good luck being healthy, really good luck being on good coach teams, really good success having good defenses. So he's had a good package the whole time. And that's kept him healthy, kept him in a good mind to play. So, like I said, I do expect him to come back for at least a couple more years. He's going to have to lose badly on a good team for him to realize, maybe it is time.
I kind of realize now why Tom went to the Bucs. Right now.
That team is loaded.
Really good.
And then you picked up Brown and the running back.
You pick up Leonard Fournette and then Antonio Brown to add on to that core.
To add on to the core that's already there. Evans and Godwin was already there.
Those are 2 star
and then you bring in Gronk.
Who's pretty much a cog tight end that
you need. And the running back you already had wasn't too bad.
And then you add another one, and then you add more to that loaded wide receiver core.
So
the Buccaneers really had
the offense. Even with all that, the offense wasn't explosive. They weren't scoring 40, 50 points a game. It was really that defense that solidified. They lost to Kansas City, gave up 200 yards in the first quarter, and
Tyreek Hill.
And from that game on, the defense said, "We got to do something, dude. We got to do something."
And they did. Something.
They never lost a game after that. So
the Buccaneers coaching staff.
Congratulations to the Buccaneers coaching staff, man. That is.
And
Bowles,
congratulations
Todd
to
Bowles. That was awesome.
Todd Bowles had an excellent game plan.
The defensive line coach, who I can't remember his name now, but he is spectacular too. He's stellar. So congrats to the whole team.
Even to the real Buccaneer fans who've had to wait 17 years to make the postseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, congrats. I mean, it was honestly it was a good season.
For like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So enjoy this ring. Enjoy it with Johnny Depp, Tom Brady, because I don't know how many more chances you'll have to feel like this.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are favored again next year to be back in the Super Bowl.
They should be really hungry after this.
Oh, yeah. If they don't work hard on the offseason on this and fill in some spots, they will.
Especially on the offensive line.
The offensive line. Yeah, well, like I said, they're supposed to have one guy back, but they need to draft some offensive linemen. And maybe some deep. Their defense, the secondary is pretty good. They might need some help otherwise on defense.
They don't have a standout star on the corner position.
No, they need to. They got Matthew out there in the safety position.
Who's always a big help for the most part.
They're going to need to draft maybe offensive line or definitely on defense. The offense is explosive.
It's as good as any in the league.
So I don't think you need any skill players.
They've got plenty.
You need big uglies, maybe some linebackers, good DB, something around that line.
Yeah, that's what they need.
All right. Well, that's it for the Super Bowl talk. Before we go, though, we do want to do a little preview
of possibility of free
agency and drafts coming up. There's been some big stuff going on.
And the Houston Texans are the biggest thing going on.
Man, the Houston Texans continue to
implode.
Collapse. I mean, just when you think, man, this can't get much worse. Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can.
I don't think we even need to take enough time to explain how bad the Houston Texans front office is.
No, we won't get in there too bad, but we will say that J.J. Watt is now a free agent.
For good reason.
For good reasons. He asked to be released, and they released him. Didn't even get a cheese sandwich for him or anything.
No cheese sandwich this
Not
time.
even a cheese sandwich. They got a cheese sandwich for Hopkins. They didn't give you a cheese sandwich for Watt. But J.J. Watt, he's been looked at by quite a few several teams.
Still no first-round picks. Still no second-round picks. No ability to draft any young star players.
Now, this next year for Houston's going to be ugly, ain't it?
Ugly.
It's going to be ugly. But I know the Packers are after Watt. The Titans are after Watt. The Browns are after Watt. There's quite a few teams that are wanting J.J. Watt. So
they'd have to break up in the bank.
They'd have to give him some. Hey, honestly, I don't know if J.J. Watt's going to ask for a ton of money right now. J.J. Watt has made his money. He's already a spectacular human being. He is just a wonderful person. I don't know him personally, but just from seeing what he's done for his communities and his team, he's a wonderful person. So he's got the star power. He's got the money. I think now he wants
the culture,
the ring.
The ring.
He wants that ring. He wants that ring. So I think he would be willing to take a little bit less money
to play for a contender.
So J.J. Watt is going to go play somewhere, and he's not going to ask for a ton of money, and he's going to help a team because he's going to go in with his attitude, with his work ethic,
and a
hunger to win a title. And there's going to be a defense that's going to be vastly improved, not only by his skills, but just him being who he is, going in there hungry. So I'm really excited for I hope he goes to a team that I sort of like a little bit. Because he's going to do some damage.
He's just one of the many, especially in the quarterback class.
Oh, we got a bunch of quarterbacks flying around. Deshaun Watson still wants out. The
Texans are incompetent.
They still don't want to trade him.
For some reason. I mean, why wouldn't you trade him? Your relationship with him is fractured.
You're going to get probably 3 first-round draft picks if you trade him.
Try it?
You have 0 first-round draft picks or second-round draft picks right now. You can really restock. Your defense is on the way out now. Your offense is Deshaun Watson's the only superstar left on there. So why not go just accept rebuild mode
and just trade him?
Trade him and get you 4, 5, 6 picks, 3 first rounders, and start rebuilding that team because it's time to.
It's definitely time.
And then we have the news of Russell Wilson not being happy with his.
I mean, he's been sacked over 300 times.
He got, 39, 40-something sacks last year.
They don't have an offensive line.
They don't have an offensive line. And all Russell Wilson said was, hey, we really need some offensive line help. And the team was like, oh, well, you can't tell us what to do.
We can't. We don't need to put together an offensive line.
So Russell Wilson's a little disgruntled right now, too. The man just won the
Walter
Payton Player of the Year, Man of the Year. I mean, come on. He's another great person, great. If he goes somewhere, that will be splash worthy. I mean,
especially with a good offensive line.
Super Bowl winning, was close to being the MVP this year. If he hadn't got sacked 40 times in the second half of the year, he's a good player. He's a very good player, and he's a good person on top of that. So it would be a huge plus to any team. Also, that's another huge one out there too. Any other big moves that think of that's happened or could happen?
Those are some of the big moves. Mainly some of the big moves are the quarterbacks that's going to move around, and Richard Sherman's still out there.
Richard Sherman's out there. We've had Carson Wentz is going somewhere. We don't know where he's going yet. Indy's looking at him strong, so he may be going to Indy.
Reunite with his old offensive coordinator from the Super Bowl.
Hey, that's about the best possible position that he can have.
Reunite with an old friend.
Indy's not a bad team.
Philadelphia
they were a worthy team.
And Philadelphia is a scrambled up egg mess.
Yeah, Philadelphia, really not sure what's going to happen there. Although they do have a decent young quarterback now. With what's his name? The ex-Alabama quarterback,
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. They got Jalen Hurts, so he's a good possibility.
Build an offensive line. Carson Wentz was beat up all the time.
That's what a lot of these teams don't do is build offensive lines
to protect their quarterback.
The difference between 2 seconds and 3 seconds is the difference
vast.
between 8 wins and 12 wins.
It's vast. It's
huge,
surprising.
It's huge. So yeah, invest in the big uglies, as they call them, the most important players on the field, the offensive line, defensive line. Without those two, I mean, you don't have a game. So I think those are the most important line. You can throw to a pretty good wide receiver if you've got 3.5 seconds. He doesn't have to be the best wide receiver in the league. You just have to have a quarterback give you some time to find the guy.
Yeah.
So I think offensive line is way more important than what most people say. But now we've got some huge drafting coming up. We won't get into the draft too much. We'll do a little draft
preview. We'll do a draft preview and then a little recap of the draft.
Yeah, right when we get close to that. So we won't get into that much, although there's a lot of good players out there.
Coming out into the NFL
a lot of good
next
players.
season.
Yeah, and like I said, there's going to be a lot of good players flying around here.
And some coaching changes, too, and all that kind of stuff that's going to come next year.
That's coming up. So the good stuff's coming. This one's over. It was a good year. We had football. Yay.
In this COVID
year. We had a really good year of football last year. There wasn't too much damage done, so that was awesome. So anything else you want to cover other than that? I think that's about it.
That's about it. That's it for football until, at least the draft cover-up.
Yeah, that is 2020-2021 football year. Coming up this fall, we'll jump back into it again. But again, we'll do a little draft preview because it's such a wonderful draft coming up. We'll have to talk about the draft a little bit. There's some powerhouses coming out in that draft and a lot of moves I think is going to happen. Other than that, we hope you enjoyed it. Have some fun. We'll be back in a little bit. May even do a little March Madness
coming up because it's such a huge and fun.
It's such a huge. We didn't have one last year, so we're going to try to talk about one here this year a little bit. Other than that, we're out. We hope you had a little fun. Hit the like button, the subscribe button,
groovy baby
button. Other than that, we'll see you later.
See ya next week or month.